Hello, everyone. This is Chala, Dincoy, CEO and founder of The Repositioning Expert. I'm here with another edition of my podcast, the Naked Marketing Podcast, where we talk about our honest, naked, vulnerable, authentic mistakes. My latest guest is hailing from the UK, Tom Bailey. Welcome, Tom.
Chala, thank you so much for having me on your podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thanks for being here. So tell us who you help and what you do.
Yeah, so I was my first client, like a lot of coaches say, and I started out life with a crippling fear of public speaking, social anxiety, and it was a long journey to overcome that fear. And what I now do is I help other entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants how to no longer be afraid of going on camera or podcast or speaking and presenting, and actually have the confidence to get their message in front of their market with clarity and really raise their profile.
That's really great. So how did being afraid then transition into a career? Did you work for a corporation before? You worked for someone else, or you just were born an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I kind of always had the entrepreneurial bug. But back when I had my fear of public speaking, I used to start businesses and actually not tell anybody about them, because I was almost too scared to get, to get noticed or to be judged or have other people's opinions on my businesses. So I think I actually started about 3 businesses in the end, but didn't ever get a customer because I was too scared to talk about it.
So give me an example of a business you started.
Yeah, so I started a small graphic design business whereby I could create websites and branding and social media assets. I then created a personal branding business, and I also created a property inventory business. And what I did was I created the logo, created the website, I created the leaflets, the business cards. I did all that stuff, but then because I was too scared to tell anyone about it, I just went on to the next business and started creating another one.
That's hilarious. Well, first of all, my hat's off to you for getting over that fear. You're going to tell us how you did that. But
Yeah.
also my hat's off to you for having so many businesses and different
Yeah.
ideas. Just
Although a business without a customer is just an idea, isn't it? So
it is. It's just a hobby.
yeah, exactly.
So tell us how you got over that fear.
It was a long journey. Probably took me about 8 years actually in total, and I went completely the wrong way about it initially. So I decided to buy every single book on public speaking. But the problem with that is you learn the techniques and tactics and how to write a speech and how to stand up and deliver it, but then it didn't actually help me overcome the fear. So that was a waste of time. I went to speak to a vocal coach to try and change my accent because I thought that was the reason why I'm not a good speaker, was because I didn't sound right. Another avoidance tactic, it turns out. I went to every conference, seminar, exhibition, workshop to watch other speakers and then try and copy them. Didn't work because I was comparing myself to how good they were and I wasn't anywhere near as good. So yeah, ultimately a lot of mistakes. But what I did do eventually was I got myself a confidence coach, and she took me on a journey, and that just changed everything for me.
Wow. Isn't that the power of coaching, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So similar to you, when I first started, I mean, I was in corporate for 18 years. I worked for Pepsi, Pizza Hut, Frito-Lay, but I didn't know how to have my own business.
Yeah.
So because I was too scared to spend money, because I didn't have a lot of clients, I didn't have any clients, I would go into these group programs. So I'd make myself feel good that I was in some sort of coaching, but they were programs. So nobody would ever get down to the level of talking directly to my issues and customize anything to me. And then when I met this guy who said, if you pay me 15 grand for 3 months, I'm going to change your level of income and your ability to sell huge programs. And for whatever reason, I believed him because, that was the first experience I had of a high level coach. And he changed my life. I quadrupled my income.
Awesome.
My lifestyle changed, right? Like the bracket of which you live changed. And even through the pandemic, it hasn't really changed that much. So I'm so grateful to coaching, just like you are.
And yeah, I also say that investing in yourself is the best investment you'll ever make, because the return on investment is lifelong, really, isn't it? Because you can just keep building on that success.
Oh, exactly. Like I never needed his help again, but I need other help for other things from other specialists. So that's amazing. So this is a marketing show. So tell us how you, in England, how you get these clients. I mean, are they all over the world, or are you mostly local? Like, how are you getting them?
Yeah, so global client base, and funnily enough, I mean, my business is called Succeed Through Speaking, and I help entrepreneurs use speaking to grow their business. And I also do the same thing to get my clients as well.
Mhm.
So I do podcasting, I speak on virtual summits, I run live masterclasses, webinars, create video content, anything where it's me speaking, creating content. That's my marketing mechanism, and that's how I drive clients towards me in a very authentic way.
That's wonderful. Now, the biggest question we get from people is, how do you get the speaking jobs?
Yeah, so I always say podcasting is the best place to start. And the reason why that is because, so I, for example, launched a podcast and I've had about 120 interviews that I've now done. Several of my guests happened to be event organizers, speakers, they knew other speakers. They're already people who are actively on the circuit. So by building those relationships, I got access to lots of opportunities. And as well as that, when it comes to virtual summits, they're blowing up at the minute and there's so many of them and they're always looking for speakers. There's platforms like, I think it's called eventraptor.com, whereby summit organizers say, here's my summit, I'm looking for speakers, register yourself now. So yeah, lots of different ways you can get onto speaking gigs.
That's great. That is really some good tips. Thank you so much. Now, being such a master at attracting these clients, tell us, what is a marketing mistake, your naked marketing mistake that you made?
So not a naked marketing mistake. And, on the pun, I guess, I was always scared of revealing myself. And I've already talked about this so far. But what I mean by that is I hid behind the brand. I put out a logo, I put out a business card, a website, and nobody knew who was behind that, because by not showing myself, I was avoiding being vulnerable. I was avoiding opening myself up to opinions and judgment and criticism. But the reality is, if you look at Tesla, you think Elon Musk. If you look at Virgin, you think Richard Branson. If you look at Facebook, you think Mark Zuckerberg. Nowadays, personal branding is critical, I think. And being the face, the voice, the opinion of your business, the brand, that's what people need to be doing.
Yeah, so true. So, and then you got over that mistake by hiring that coach, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess the journey that she took me on and made it really clear for me was that learning to speak and have confidence is a skill. It's a learned skill, like anything else. If you're going to learn to swim, your first swimming lesson isn't in the Pacific Ocean.
Mhm.
It's in a paddling pool with, shallow end with your inflatable bands on. And that's the same that she said to me when I came to speaking was, do a 10-second video in your smartphone and delete it afterwards. Your next step will be to do a 30-second video and send it to me as your coach. I'll give some feedback. And then eventually it was a podcast guest, then it was a virtual summit, then it was speaking on a live stage. So it's those baby steps, and eventually you'll build the confidence to speak.
Yeah. And I can't not ask this question, because the world of speakers has been decimated because of the pandemic, including myself, because my number one funnel was speaking at conferences. And because I'm in Canada, so 100% of my business is in the US. So I would fly every month and speak at a giant conference and just convert. So how has life changed for you because of the new normal?
So I think it's actually benefited some speakers who've jumped on the virtual world or virtual stages. The two things have blown up, I think. One is podcasting, and then the other one is these virtual summits. And the benefit for me is low cost, low effort. I don't need to leave the house. I don't need to put any socks on. And I can connect with a global audience now all over the world: Australia, Canada, US, UK, Europe, from my bedroom, and that's the power of virtual speaking, and more people need to start doing it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So what parting advice do you have in marketing for our viewers and listeners?
So marketing advice is to start speaking. I think it's the missing piece to your marketing puzzle for a lot of business owners. And it's a great way for you to get your message to market with confidence and clarity in an authentic way, with you being the face of the business.
Yeah. And what do you say to those who would rather die? You know, the saying, they'd rather be in the coffin than be doing the eulogy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I completely, yeah, I know that feeling. I was there, I lived it, I breathed it. So what I'd say is, think, what if I don't speak? How much money am I leaving on the table? What opportunities am I missing? So sometimes you need to go outside your comfort zone, feel uncomfortable to open yourself up to massive opportunities in the end.
Yes. So it's all about the opportunities and where you can grow to. So that's fabulous. Now, how could people reach you, Tom?
So my company name, my brand name is Succeed Through Speaking. So if you just type that into Google, Succeed Through Speaking, you'll see me all over the first page. And you can go to succeedthroughspeaking.com if you want to find out more about my free masterclasses as well.
Wonderful. Thanks for being a guest.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.